Paranoid personality disorder. The main point of this disorder is a constant mistrust of others for no good reason. A person with this condition is often sure that people are trying to hurt, fool, or threaten them, even with no proof. They don't like to share personal information, thinking it will be used against them. A simple compliment might be seen as a hidden insult, and they can hold a grudge for a very long time. This state of always being on guard makes it very hard to build relationships. Schizoid personality disorder. This is defined by a lack of interest in social relationships and showing a very limited range of emotions. People with this disorder are often seen as lone wolves who almost always choose to be by themselves. They show little interest in having friends or romantic partners and can seem cold or humorless. The key here is not that they're just shy. They truly do not want to be around people and don't seem to get much joy from most things. This creates a very lonely inner world. Schizotypal personality disorder. This disorder mixes a strong discomfort with close relationships with odd beliefs, magical thinking, and strange behaviors. Someone with this disorder might think they have special powers like reading minds, or they might be very superstitious. Their speech can be strange and hard to follow, and they might look messy or dress in an unusual way. They also feel very anxious in social situations. But unlike schizoid personality disorder, this comes from a fear of others, not just from wanting to be alone. Antisocial personality disorder. The name is a little confusing. It doesn't mean you don't like parties. It means you're anti-society. People with ASPD completely ignore the rights, feelings, and safety of others. They might lie, cheat, and use people for personal gain or just for fun. They often get into trouble with the law and, most importantly, show no guilt for what they've done. They can cause serious emotional or physical harm and feel nothing. This is often matched with acting on impulse, aggression, and a total refusal to admit they are to blame. Borderline personality disorder. This condition is all about being unstable. This instability affects their relationships, how they see themselves, their moods, and their actions. People with BPD have a deep fear of being left alone and may do desperate things to avoid it. Their relationships are often a roller coaster, changing from thinking someone is perfect to seeing them as worthless. They struggle to control their emotions, leading to big mood swings, angry outbursts, and a long-lasting feeling of being empty inside. Acting impulsively and in self-harming ways, like drug abuse or hurting themselves, are also common. Histrionic personality disorder. The main feature here is showing extreme emotions and having a strong need to be the center of attention. People with HPD are often lively, dramatic, and flirtatious, but they get very uncomfortable when they are not the focus. Their self-worth is based on getting approval from others, not from a real feeling of their own value. To get attention, they might act in a very dramatic or overly sexual way. And while their emotions seem very strong, they are often shallow and change quickly, which can make their relationships feel not very deep. Narcissistic personality disorder. This disorder is built on a huge sense of self-importance, a never-ending need to be admired, and a complete lack of ability to understand others' feelings. People with NPD think they are much more important than they are, believing they're special, better than others, and deserve special treatment. They often dream about having endless success, power, and being brilliant, but under this shiny, confident surface is often a very weak self-esteem that gets hurt by even a small criticism. They may use people to get what they want and get angry when they don't get the praise they feel they should. Avoidant personality disorder. This disorder involves being very shy, feeling like you're not good enough, and being extra sensitive to criticism. People with AVPD really want to connect with others, but they're frozen by a huge fear of being rejected or made fun of. They avoid social events and meeting new people. Even in the relationships they do have, they are often on guard for fear of being shamed. This is much more than just being shy. It's a constant feeling that they are not as good as other people, which leads to a very lonely life. Dependent personality disorder. The main part of DPD is a very strong need to be cared for by others, which makes them act clingy and afraid to be alone. Someone with this disorder has trouble making even simple decisions without a lot of advice and support. They do not have the self-confidence to take care of themselves and might even stay in a bad relationship just so they don't have to be alone. When a close relationship ends, they often feel a desperate, urgent need to find a new person to give them the support they feel they need to get by. Obsessive-compulsive personality disorder. It's very important not to mix this up with OCD. OCD is an anxiety disorder with unwanted thoughts and repeated rituals. OCPD, on the other hand, is a personality disorder focused on a strong need for everything to be orderly, perfect, and under control. People with OCPD are often workaholics, giving up friendships and fun to get more done. They are strict about rules and morals, and they can't let others do tasks because they're afraid no one will do them the right way. This endless need to be perfect can actually slow them down, as they get stuck on small details and have trouble finishing anything. These conditions are deep-seated and cause real suffering, not just for the person living with them, but for the people around them too. It's important to see them as complex mental health conditions, not just as flaws in someone's character. While the patterns of thought and behavior are hard to change, they can be treated. Psychotherapy, or talk therapy, is the main treatment, and it can help people manage their symptoms, change harmful behaviors, and understand where their struggles come from. With the right support, people with personality disorders can manage their conditions and live more stable and happy lives.